The following podcast contains mature language and adult discussion.
All right, Kliq This, episode 198 of the Kevin Nash podcast. He's Kevin, I'm Sean. You're looking at Sean now. You're not looking at Kevin because Kevin is at WrestleMania. WrestleMania weekend. It's becoming a week. So he's going to be breaking in just a little bit. We have correspondence. We have the Kliq This correspondence dispatched throughout Las Vegas, pretty much at one hotel. But, you know, we'll say throughout, the magic of media here. You can think we have. And so, I mean, why don't we start with Kev? There he is, Kev, just like I promised. The connection worked. Boom! The magic of those little ones and zeros flying through the sky. Kevin is in Vegas, like I said, and we all watched.
Still possessing the, I don't know whose voice. Am I turning into fucking like late Lee Marvin?
You know what? It's a little Betty Davis, and with a touch. With a touch, Bill Eadie, actually.
What if I was to say? I might be Lee Marvin if I sing "Paint Your Wagon."
I was gonna say, you got to do a Paint Your Wagon reference. Kevin, we're too fucking old to do this show. You realize this? You show me one other fucking Paint Your Wagon reference this week in any media, Kliq This, Kevin Nash podcast. Like I said, this is Kev, fresh at. Well, he's still at. The WrestleMania festivities, and we're shooting this right after the Hall of Fame, so you won't have WrestleMania results here, but we don't need that because you're getting that already from everywhere else in the world. But I do want to know the vibe, Kev. How did it feel with? I saw some of like the backstage footage and I guess prepping for the red carpet. Honest to God, I didn't know if I was watching the Grammys, the Emmys, the Oscars, with the mobile units out there, and it's got to be the biggest production to date, right? I mean, it's massive. I'm getting a little echo, Dom, a titch, as they say. But it was massive, Kev.
You know what was funny was we went out for rehearsal, and
your 1 minute rehearsal.
Yeah, but we went out. Dennis wasn't there yet, so we just went out. They wanted to just run through it with me and Sean, and so the last time I went out there, the first time in 13, did Scott go in 13? I think Scott went in 13. And I put him in, and I had to turn the mic. So, like I did last night. And the next time I went, Vince is out there, and I went to grab the mic, and he smacked my hand. I looked at him, he goes, "Wait." And the fucking microphone leveled itself.
Yeah.
So I go out there, and she goes, "You can start now." I said, "Well, you guys are going to move the mic?" She said, "Well, just move it." I said,
"Wow."
With my hand? I said, "Are you fucking telling me that something from the production side of this fucking company is fucking went backwards?"
Backwards. I was just going to say that. Unbelievable.
And they looked at me, and I said, "Yes." I said, "This used to be on a hydraulic, and it was operated, and it was brought so I could put and it still was so low that if you'll notice, I'm reading like this because I've got to bend down because of look at the difference in height of me and Sean.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't really change the mic. He just kind of like put it in front of him.
Yeah.
So, just little things like that where you just kind of go like, all right, well, obviously this doesn't fucking matter. It's just kind of something that like I who the fuck's gonna follow Stephanie? You know?
Yeah. What did you think of?
Kids like 6'2", 6'1".
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Was anyone on the production staff old enough to remember the 2013 hydraulic microphone, or did they just look at you like you were a lunatic?
I've got such a reputation of being a fucking asshole. They probably thought I had made that up also. So I told them.
I think Hunter and Triple H were talking about the hydraulic mic on an interview on Stephen A. Smith the other day.
And who wouldn't have? But I think that when I was talking to the writer, and I said, God, I remember the first time we did this, like, we just wrote our own shit. Like we inducted each other and we wrote our own shit, and like nobody fucking wrote Scott's fucking, Bad Times Won't Last, nobody wrote any of that. That was all our shit.
Now, what about on the acceptance side, Kevin? You were presenting, but if you were accepting today, would you have that written for you too?
You would have
collaboration.
I would think that it was bullet point because it's on a teleprompter, which it was one of those like. And my whole thing is, if it's easier, it's like when you're told what to do, and it's going to be on a teleprompter, and it's just like, okay, that's fine, as long as what I'm reading on that teleprompter is what I want to read.
Right.
I'm not a 34-year-old white guy that has never been in a fist fight and weighs $112.
Which means you don't write for WWE.
No. And I don't have, I don't look like the fucking Beatles in 1960 with the fucking peg leg pants and the,
I assume that they had to have some ability to write part of their own speech. As Bill Eadie thanks Guido Mongol as the first one. He brought that to the table, no question. If there was a Pampero Firpo reference, that would have been brought to the table by the
thing was with the guy that wrote for me personally, I mean, it's like anything else. Like once we sat in the room and it was no longer like it wasn't even going, like nobody was like, we knew that nobody was pulling a measuring stick out to start even measuring cocks. Like that wasn't going to happen. We knew where that was going to go.
I'm always relieved when I'm at the party and that doesn't happen, Kev.
Yeah. Like one of my best lines I used to always use, and fucking the guy'd say, yeah, and you're the big guy with a cock this big. And I'd always say, all right, $1,000. I'll get my dick hard. Anything over 7 inches, you got to put in your mouth.
That usually ends it right there, doesn't it?
Average cock is 5.1. So I'm giving you a 1.9 fucking
Head start.
leeway. Yeah. And I tell them, just so you know, I'm going to have my whole fucking head in your mouth. And
you know what? Thank you for the 5.1. You made me and a lot of people feel good tonight.
That's the average, 5.1.
Unbelievable.
Erect penis.
Not from the crack of your ass either, bro.
No.
No.
That's why Maria Muldaur, we used the reference before, had the song, "It's not the meat, it's the motion."
That's it. Now, so you do
most women prefer below 6 inches.
Right.
I don't
and
think
now, of course, there's always the girth, right? Is what you hear is what counts.
But
right?
I don't think any woman wants her fucking cervix blasted for an hour and a half.
No.
So.
Yeah. None that I know, and none that would have to worry about that with me. So, rehearsal. So the rehearsal goes. Is it full rehearsal? Everyone's doing their full speech.
I mean, it's not teleprompter, but I mean, I read it like this. Da 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 da. I just read it as it came, because I'm not going to go out there like a fucking goof. I'm
just saying, do you have to sit through the whole show twice, Kevin?
Well, I mean, Sean and I were done rehearsing, and fucking, what did we have between us? 2 minutes?
Oh, wait, so you don't have to sit. You can do your spot and then you go.
Then we go back to our green room.
That's what I mean. Okay, so you don't have to sit in the house for the whole thing.
Which I have to put over this. That this is another thing. Be there at 3:00. Leave at midnight. Absolutely not a stitch of fucking food.
No.
For the talent available. No protein, some bags of chips, a couple of fucking bananas and a tangerine. And I fucking asked the head of fucking talent relations, and I won't say his name. I asked him, "Is there food?" And he didn't come in and say hi to me until the show, till Stephanie was done. In other words, we probably will never have to use him again, because he will never do anything again.
Why? But all the events are catered. All the matches are cards are catered. The pay-per-views are catered. This is even a longer day, or as long a day as that. I'm very surprised. Is it the tariffs? What's going on? Why did this happen?
No. Well, you've got Wrestlecon going on.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's where I'm signing. So it affects their. It used to be Fan Access, now it's called World. So they want to kill Wrestlecon. They want to fucking own this event for the 4 or 5 days that they want it to be. It's basically the IDF offensive philosophy. Just complete genocide of anything that fucking.
But how are they? What's the offensive in not feeding your talent?
The offensive is you bring Stone Cold Steve Austin in for a photo op or a fucking autograph, each one costing around $375 a piece. And they have Steve for 4 hours on Friday and Saturday. Steve doesn't do live appearances. So now you take that. So that that money grab, and I'm talking about it's say it's $750 to get Steve's stuff, which I mean that's what you're going to pay online. But it's another $300 if he puts 316. It's enough. I mean, it's like before. I mean, you could drive a Bugatti out before you fucking got everybody they had there. So then you take that into the effect of my first day Thursday. I don't hear a British, Scottish, Irish, Australian. I don't hear anybody's fucking accent except Americans because nobody in the fucking world, including wrestling fans, is going to fucking come to our country and go through our customs and ICE and bullshit. And we're not exactly the darlings on earth right now. So you don't even have to fucking worry about tariffs when the country is in the third, I guess it would be the Fourth Reich.
So did you notice? So there was a noticeably diminished international fan representation this year,
and monetary, and I couldn't have. Most times that I've signed during the 4 hours, it wasn't because I didn't have people in front of me. I just didn't have a line of people in front of me. So I could take my time because I could look and I say, all right, I got 6 people. I can spend a minute and a half with each person or 2 minutes. Instead of when you look and there's no fucking end of the line and you got 2 hours left, you're like, no personalizations, we got to fucking go.
Yeah.
So it was, it wasn't as bad as like the year after COVID, but it kind of had a little bit of that feel. And it's just that, like Pac didn't do Wrestlecon, Pac did World. So next year I'll see if I can cut a deal and work for the WWE and work, do it 1 4-hour day instead of 4 4-hour days.
Do you think that would be fiscally comparable?
At this point in my life, like my wife's last comment to me when she kissed me and I was putting my bag in the car, she says, go out for 5 days to Vegas. You don't drink, you don't gamble, and you don't chase ass. And go make us a ton of money we'll never spend.
Have fun.
In other words, what the fuck? Like, what are you doing? It's going to be 80 this whole fucking week. And you're going to call me up bitching about fucking being hoarse and beat and running around like you're fucking 35 years old to make all your commitments. And I told her, I said, when you grow up and you live on the street hustle, it's in your DNA.
It's the what's the action? Where's the action? Yeah. All right, Kev, I got to take a pause for the cause here. And, I have a teenager. I have a 20-year-old who many times I feel like I have a teenager. But fiscal responsibility is a real thing. And, for parents out there, it's always a struggle. You're trying to do the right thing. You're trying to be responsible. But safety of your money and theirs is of paramount importance. So Cash App, our friends at Cash App, would like all the parents out there with teenagers to listen. Because, they know you're already trying to keep a million different things under control. Cash App is here to make sure that your teens' money and their spending isn't adding to our craziness. Cash App is designed to meet teens aged 13 to 17 where they are with intuitive educational tools available through sponsorship by an eligible parent or guardian. Teens gain access to a personalized Cash App card that comes in different colors and patterns to fit their style and their ability to instantly access money from family and friends. Cash App makes managing that money feel easier and honestly just a cooler way to do it, than all the other options out there. The platform has tools that can help teens develop real-world financial habits in a space that's safe, easy to navigate, and gives them access to their paychecks up to 2 days early and can help them achieve personalized savings goals they can set themselves, all within the app. Okay, so with Cash App, these tools become something they'll actually want to use because they were designed with them in mind. Finally, no one wants unnecessary surprises. So with Cash App, there's no monthly fees, no minimum balance requirements, and no hidden charges when sending or receiving money. With the Cash App card, you and your teen's balances receive 24/7 fraud monitoring. And if something ever feels off, you have the ability to lock the card right from your phone. Skip the stress. Give your teen a way to learn financial responsibility with no hidden fees. Download the Cash App and get started today. And for a limited time, new Cash App customers can earn $10 if they use the code FAMILY10 in their profile at sign up and send $5 to a friend within 14 days. Terms apply. Cash App is a financial services platform, not a bank. Banking services provided by Cash App's bank partners. Prepaid debit cards issued by Sutton Bank, member FDIC. Direct deposit and promotions provided by Cash App, a Block Inc. brand. Visit cash.app/legal/podcast for full disclosures. Thank you, Cash App.
Yeah, it's and the guy that drove me in and picked me up midnight on Wednesday. He's been in Vegas for 30 years. He's driving a fucking limo on his wife's birthday. It's midnight. We're talking about a bunch of shit, and I said, it's fucked up. I said, man, I got like maybe 60, $80 on me. I said, but now, I really can't give you much of a tip. I said, can you take a tip on a credit card? Because I just forgot to grab cash. I had cash in my glove box, and he said, no. I said, man, don't worry about it. I said, no, I do. I said, he goes, no. I said, before I could even say it, he said, no, man, cash is king. He said, cash will always be king. He said, especially out here in Vegas. And I said, all right. And then I opened and I actually had like I think I had $80. And I gave him the money. He goes, oh man, he goes, I'll take 20 of it if you'll sign it. So he took a 20 and I signed it. And I said, fuck. I said, that was a smart move. I said, because now that $20 bill with my signature
worth a
on
little more than 80.
I know. I said it's worth 21.
Oh.
So, he was a good dude. And then I got, like I said, the only motherfucker that's driving a Suburban in Vegas that doesn't know anything about the town, Cool. Good. Glad I got you. So he took me to the and then I sent a text message to the people that were coordinating my transportation yesterday. I said, my driver, ... capital letters, RIB. Like, this is a rib, right?
Yeah.
Because I sometimes, man, like I do my own shit. I take care of my own shit. Like I don't count on anybody to do anything. So as soon as I fucking give my power to somebody else, well, I'm not on the card. I'm not expected to draw a fucking dime for this company. So my priority, whether or not I get the fucking good driver, is very fucking minimal. So I just kept making notes to myself.
You should have, after you signed that 20, you could have offered that guy $20 per inch over 5.1. Might have made out for himself.
It was kind of fucking cold, and the fucking he might only got fucking he
Another
might
20.
only got another 20.
Or he might have owed you a 20. So, all right. So you get
I
out.
could have had any. I could have had any.
So now for the Hall of Fames, the roster attends, obviously, right? That's part of the whole deal. When you
John
have
Cena,
to,
I actually spoke to. I didn't get a chance to tell John Cena during his farewell, because I mean I would have liked to have been there, but it just didn't work out for me because I was doing other things. But I got a chance to talk to John, and like, and I told him, I said, I'm not sure you don't listen to our show. I said, but my take of that smile was, and he said, close. And I said, what? I said, give me your take on the smile. And he said, I wanted to be the first character on an episodic TV that was the good guy, that when they killed him off on the program, he was smiling. And I went, yeah, absolutely. Like, that's what, like, yeah. Like, he says, because they know that I will never come back and do this again. He says, let me put it this way. They know what that check would be, and they'll never write that check.
good for John.
And it's just like the boys are such a different, we're such a
It's
different breed of humans. It's
oh,
like
it is unlike anything else in the world.
I like I'm going to say never. Wait, if they gave me fucking $30 million to come back next year, I'm sure he'd be in the ring. You know, but it gets to the point where John's got to be worth 253, right?
I don't know what
So
he's
I mean,
doing with it, but
300 million. I mean, if I had $300 million, all I'd be doing is getting up every morning and going to the Mayo Clinic and having a fucking body scan.
make sure you can get as much time as you can out of that.
Absolutely.
An estimate here, and this is the internet, obviously. 2026,
Mhm.
John Cena's net worth was estimated to be $80 million, accumulated through wrestling, movies, brand endorsements. He was earning, I guess, in the heyday, between 10 and 12 million annually. That's salary pay-per-view. Oh, that's actually salary pay-per-view and merch. That seems low. And then
Yeah, I mean, Steve in his heyday was, I think Steve had 2 years that were, and you're talking about mid 90s and like, 20 to 23 to 25 range.
yeah, who knows? But well, it was good that you got to see John, and
Yeah,
of course,
it
John
was,
listens to the show.
well, I doubt it, but
Got to listen to something. What the hell's he listening to? All right,
probably
so
Mandarin Chinese.
there you are. There you are. You're at the Hall of Fame. You haven't eaten in a few hours. The when you have
And,
to be
I,
on.
and I'm having conversations with my wife this whole time, and she's just fucking like Larry Holmes with his jab, just peppering me with fucking told you so, told you so. And I mean, I'm just fucking taking the whole glove in the mouth. You're right. You're right. You're right. And then it's like, but then I get to walk in the room and there's Steph and the three girls. And it's like I'm looking at Aurora and she's in college now. She's a young woman. And the first time I ever saw her, she was on Paul and Stephanie's coach, and the top drawer of the pull-out bureau
The dresser
was her fucking was her crib, where she fucked like, and I'm just thinking like, wow, like man, she was that, she was that. That's when I saw her. So,
Did you become that
and they're,
uncle? Like, oh, I remember you when you were sleeping in the dresser. I hope not.
It's just one of those things where because I don't have that much like we don't all our we had a lot of interaction when Paul and Stephanie before they had children because I was still in the business and Steph was still in the business and there were times when we were all three working in the same company, so we had like, and I've always and I worked like Steph was in college when I first met her when I was Diesel. And so I mean I've known Stephanie since when they showed that picture of her early on the Hall of Fame, and she like introduced herself like, "Hi, I'm Stephanie McMahon," and like that was when I met her, and I was just like, "Wow!" Like I'm thinking to myself like I have fucking known her for fucking almost 40 years.
Yeah. Kev, what was interesting, from the viewer standpoint, Vince had a presence there. I mean, of course, Stephanie's going in, and so the name's going to come up, and came up throughout the night. But I guess for the first time in anything we've seen since he withdrew himself, Vince, this felt a little like Vince McMahon's company. Not in the decision making last night, but the mentions, the audience reactions, talent mentioning him in speeches. It felt like Vince was back for a night.
I think that when you have one of Vince's children that are going in and your mother is inducting you, you're going to talk about your father.
But it went beyond her, though, because it was
But
other talent.
I think you got to realize in the world when Vince was the emperor, it was forbidden to make reference to Vince McMahon in your Hall of Fame speech. Stephanie went out first and hit her fucking tee shot, and it was fucking 300 yards down the middle to fucking Vince McMahon land. And everybody else went, oh, I'll play through. Because nobody that's been there for any fucking time has not, that Vince has touched, cannot have to tell him thank you. Because he was the dream maker. He was the one that his say was if you were going to make it in that company, it was you know he was going to touch the sword on each one of your shoulders. He was going to anoint you.
Right.
So it was very, very hard for me. I wanted to so badly just say that without I knocked on your front door at Jabroni, and fucking you were the first one that looked at me and saw fucking money. And
So it was policy not to talk about
absolutely,
Vince.
it was fucking taboo.
Hmm. Would he didn't want to make it about himself? What's the logic behind it?
it was just a unspoken, spoken rule.
Huh. Interesting.
Paul broke it last year.
Yeah, I guess it
was his
didn't know it was
father-in-law.
a thing. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was absolutely 100%. You did not mention Vince McMahon. I don't know if Taker did or not. I bet you Taker did if you go back and listen to it,
Mm-hmm.
because of the relationship that Mark had with Vince. I saw Mark last night, which was great.
How about I know in the past the ongoing joke has been, the 9-hour ceremony, and so they clearly got their mitts into this program last night. Last night for us, because we're doing this on Saturday, and truncated some of what was to be presented. Too much, though, Kevin? Too much?
I mean, I got there at 3:00. By the time I left, when I walked outside, I expected to at least see like half a pyramid built someplace. Like fuck, at least the base.
It's
It's a long fucking day for me.
But is
After
the
getting
show
up at
itself, though, is it a little too produced now? Wasn't it fun to never know what Piper was going to say when he got up there, or what the hell Sheiky was going to do? And yeah, maybe it took 25 minutes. Maybe it took.
Yeah, but what was it? Was it? I
No?
really like. Yeah, because when I looked and thought about what I wanted to say, I was intertwining my story into Dennis's. Like the speech I wrote was basically when I broke into the business and I drove up and down the road with the guys, and especially with the Kliq. 4 of the 5 of us, when we talked about the business, 4 of the 5 guys talked about wanting to do this since their childhood. I just kept my mouth shut because I wanted to play in the NBA. Like, this wasn't something I wanted to do. And I said, all this, I said, but for a kid that's, 13 years old and 6'6.5", and I know that my only avenue not to end up on a fucking assembly line floor or a fucking steel mill floor is that round basketball. And I'm white. Like the odds are slim. And then lo and behold, I play, I'm good enough. I get out, I blow my knee out, come back from Europe, and where am I? I'm in the assembly line. So I got away, but it's Pacino and the Godfather. They keep
Just
dragging
when
me
they
back.
thought.
I'm on the fucking line going, motherfucker. Then my boys take me to fucking Joe Louis. I see Hulk. I said, fuck, I can do that. And I started to pursue it. Ended up in Atlanta. Fucking Barry Windham fucking gives me the iggy on how to do it. And the next thing you know, I spend 35 years of my life in this business and I fucking love it.
How'd you hook up with, why Barry of all people, do you think? Was it just a chance?
He went for the cheat? No, he was always in the cheated. Barry loved pussy.
Yeah, well. But what about so that's where you were?
And $8 beers.
Right. But that's where you started talking to him, or when you were training you were talking to him?
No, he walked in the cheat. And here's this fucking 6'10" guy with long fucking hair. I'm 330. I'm gassed to the fucking gills. I'm inclining 405 for 8. He's like, you ever think about being in wrestling? I said, yeah. I said, I actually have. I said, I've been going to the Omni and watching some of it, but now I'm a mark. I'm just a mark. I'm watching it, but I'm not smart to it.
All right, Kev, you've got Cooper there. I've got Midge here. We've talked about their affinity for Better Wild and the allergy relief soft chews. Kev, you said you treat them like a treat, and I do too. When Midge was gnawing at her paws, it's just that's what dogs do. Maybe they're giving themselves a little self-applied manicure or something like that. But no, these are indicators that things like rashes, you could see, or red skin, excessive scratching, patchy skin even. These are allergies. Okay, this is how they manifest in dogs, okay? They start in the gut. So when things get out of balance internally, it can show up everywhere. Issues with skin, ears, digestion, energy. So they need some good bacteria to strengthen their gut health and calm an overactive immune system. They're designed to support your pet's allergy defenses by strengthening digestion and help restore balance from the inside. So instead of just covering these things up and saying, that's what dogs do, no, let's get to the bottom of it. Help your little friend, all right? They're relying on you here, all right? And Better Wild, we should be relying on them because they're committed to helping dogs with clinically proven, veterinarian-approved solutions that you can feel great about. Right now, Better Wild is offering our listeners up to 40% off at betterwild.com/Kliq, Kliq. That's betterwild.com/Kliq for up to 40% off your order. betterwild/Kliq, Kliq. Your pup will thank you. So you weren't training or anything when you first went to Atlanta?
No. I went down there and got involved with the fucking those. I was working at the strip club in Detroit. The Baptist Mafia guys grabbed me, brought me down to Atlanta. We ran that fucking white collar scam. FBI arrested me, along with who they could. The top two guys got away, and I sat in jail for a little bit, and then everybody turned. They didn't have any reason to keep me. They let me go. The guy brought me. They took me down the stairs, drove me right to the Cheetah. He said they're looking for a doormat. I walked in. Fucking that afternoon, I walked in. That like midnight, like not midnight, like 4 o'clock. I was in a men's warehouse type place, getting a tuxedo fucking fit. Next morning, I went to the gym, grabbed my tux, my fucking 3 extra shirts, put them in my locker, and started working at the Cheetah.
Hmm. And then how long after that does Barry come?
I was, I'd say a year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was there. I was there.
A lot of the boys used to go there, right?
Yeah. Center Stage was just up the street.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, it was, the talent was it was amazing.
Right.
Yeah, it was just amazing. The girls that we had. Of course, being typical guys, once you work in that industry for 6 months, you got a 9.8 dancing in front of you, and you're saying, I don't know about that. Look at her fucking toes.
Yeah, I think an unrealistic standard is definitely set when you play for the Bulls.
The next thing, and if it was in real life, you just follow around the mall and get fucking charged for stalking. So I talked to Warlord. I was talking to Terry last night, Warlord, and he worked at BT's. He also worked at Pure Platinum down in Pompano. And I asked him, I said, when you were working down at the clubs, I said, were you ever late? He goes, nope. I said, "Did you get sick?" He said, "Oh, I got sick all the time." I said, "Did you miss work?" He goes, "Nope."
Nope. Did you ever leave
No,
early?
no. Nope. Got to get tip out.
That'll help this millennial generation with their lax work ethic if they get put through the Cheetah employment training program and learn a little bit of that. Well, getting to work on time.
I'm just wondering if the dancers take Bitcoin. So
that'd be funny. Yeah, throw a few of those in there.
Yeah. Can I give you a 1/93rd of a Bitcoin?
All right, some feedback from last week. Berg Blog was listening, and one of the reasons I love the Kliq This podcast is because I learned so much, like new vocabulary terms: dooski, gelski, pitolas, scroti. Listening to Kev talk about how when he applies Mando is the best. Mitch Kreshbach.
Mando made it to Vegas.
Absolutely. I was just having a Mando discussion with some the advertising department of this network when we were talking about, advertisers and state of and who's coming on and who's, moving beyond the podcast world. And I was extremely saddened to hear that Mando as a company is moving beyond all podcasts. And I said to her, you don't understand the relationship between Mando and this show. Kevin and I go to the credit card every month to keep Mando in our lives. Forget about what they sent us. We ripped through that already. And I gave her the tip about shoes by the door, and she goes, I live in Florida. That's such a good idea. I was like, You can thank Nash for that. Yeah. Mitch Kreshbach says, during In Your House, Good Friends, Better Enemies, that was the Michaels match, right? In Omaha, did Vince know you were going to whip your ring vest at him at the announce table? He didn't sound happy.
Okay, you froze for a minute.
Oh, sorry. I'll read it again. It said, during In Your House, Good Friends, Better Enemies in Omaha, did Vince know you were going to whip your ring vest at him at the announce table? He didn't sound happy.
No, he didn't. And he didn't know I was going to powerbomb Sean through the table in front of him. If you ever watch it back, the monitor comes up and smashes him in the face.
Oh,
and
Kevin.
Because nobody had ever powerbombed anybody through the table before.
So you just worked that out with Sean?
Yeah. So when I powerbombed him, I told him, I said, there's enough room for me to get you between those.
Right.
But when I did, man, it catapulted that fucking monitor. And we're talking about a monitor.
The square metal boxes,
yeah. We're not talking. And anybody gets a chance, watch Vince take that thing like back into the left.
But he could have. I mean, the pop that got, I'm sure he was pissed in the moment, but he couldn't have been annoyed that you gave them a fucking instant replay like that. Did he say anything to you?
No. Dude, right. I gave he's got my notice. I'm not listening to him. I'm doing what I want to do. He's watching me going, fuck. He could have been doing this the whole fucking time. And I had him singing with a goddamn fucking Santa hat on. That's what I said. You missed the boat, baby. You fucking missed the boat. I'll go do my. It doesn't take me long to get smart. I remember the first time I went down on a girl. I didn't act like I knew what I was doing. I fucking said, all right, baby, paint by numbers. Talk me through it. I'm not gonna act like I've been in the canoe and know the man if I've never been in a canoe. point me to the canoe,
How do I
introduce me to
steer
the
it?
man in the canoe so I can shake the man's hand. And I just need to know, does he want me to suck him or lick him or a combination of the two?
Should have done that in the Hall of Fame speech last night.
Rodman would have been there with me. Rodman would have been with there.
It didn't matter because no one could understand a fucking word he said. He could have said anything but licking the canoe. Oh, Christ.
You know what, man? Dennis is like me at this point in his life where he's so introverted, and he's been forced through his life to be an extrovert, and he played that character, but he always had the outlet of basketball to where he could go out and do something that was absolutely just innately him doing something. Dennis didn't go out and think about that. That was the whole thing I used to tell people when I got in the business. They were like, "Oh man, wait to see the fucking crowd." I'm like, I played at Rupp Arena when I was fucking 18 years old. There was 23,000 people there. I've been in front of way bigger fucking houses than this 18,000 I'm in front of now. Played in the NCAA tournament, played in the SEC tournaments. I've played at Syracuse. I've fucking played in front of some big fucking houses. It's just completely different because when you play a sport, they're spectators. You're not working for them. When you're one of the boys and now it's theater, and you're that magnitude of crowd makes you work completely different because you have to work and allow that pop from the top to come back to give you the reaction.
It's like being in the Stones or something. It's like being in a band, and yeah.
But there's still, I think that once they put I was always amazed that like Pearl Jam, like Vedder changed the set list every night. Never the same set list.
Right.
Where the Stones would go on a tour, and they might do the North American tour. They might not change the fucking set list at all.
Mm.
Especially now with the background singers and everything else that fill the gaps to Mick. Like
right.
you can't be fucking around.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
or there'll be a couple of, like I know Springsteen always leaves like 2 or 3 songs that they'll try to cater to a city with. But for the most part, they're opening what they open with, they're closing what they close with, and you're on.
I was listening to an interview. God, I think he was he might have been on Stern or something. It was Springsteen, and there's one of the songs where, like early in their careers, when they were like still playing at local dives and where that was the song where Springsteen would just go out in the crowd and jump on the tables and kick people's drinks around, and that it was almost like a rib, but they were so over it. His music was so good. It was just like, but then back then you're probably working some shithole where a well drink's $1.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know where I was going with that.
That just to stay on that point for a minute, I was having a discussion about what doing the road did for bands, and it taught them staying power. Now everyone wants to win a contest and get a record contract, and
right,
it's just accepted that that's how you make it now. Whereas when Bruce is a great example, he was somebody that went out and did all these shore towns. He was sleeping in a surfboard shop so that he could hit all the shore towns closer to that location, and literally, scrap together what they could, found somebody with a van. Stones, when they could scrape enough money to come to the U.S., they didn't want to go do the big cities. They loved the blues, the block music, as Mick would say. And they got in a fucking van and drove throughout the South. And when they saw a place that looked like there was live music, they tried to go play. That instills this staying power that makes you very hard to kill. And I don't know if anybody today is hard to kill in entertainment anymore.
But you know what, though? I think with there's no fucking the bands used to fucking count on making vinyl sales. Like there's no record sales. Like that's
no,
gone.
That's it. Yeah, it's only
if
live.
If you want to make make money in music, you've got to tour.
Yep.
And that's why the bands that are on fire early in their career are on 3-year tours. Because Spotify, what are you getting? A half a cent a download?
It's horrific.
So
the concept of the album, you can't even think of the business like we knew it.
No.
When we bought records, it was like the new Springsteen record or the new whoever record. Now they could drop singles all year long, every 3 weeks.
Even where I lived, EJ Corvettes was a discount department store. And the whole second that had a short, it was like the old elevator that went in Delta from LaGuardia down from Delta to the baggage claim, had 12-foot escalator. And that's where the albums were up there. It was half the floor, and it was 14 feet up. But albums were everywhere else, they were $7.99, $6.99, but Corvettes, they were $3.99
for new releases. Wow.
And they bought because I think they bought in such bulk.
Right.
So, but you got to think about it, man. Gas is 71 cents.
Yeah.
So gas at $4, take $3.90. That's basically you're paying $14 for an album.
Yeah. Yeah.
One the only thing nowadays when you look at record sales, the only media that fucking continues to sell and increase in sales is vinyls.
For the collector's market.
And I just think there's just something about that warm kind of feel of vinyl.
The sound of vinyl. Yeah.
Yeah.
The cold digital. I mean, I remember when I did the transition I was a little late for 8-tracks, but I did do the transition from vinyl to cassette to CD. And I was so young to know the difference. I just knew, oh, cool, I could carry this tape around and listen to it in the Walkman. So, oh, yeah, great. Then CDs came, and it was great because you couldn't really fuck them up. I mean, you'd have to really work to fuck up. Whereas tapes
that was the
selling
best
point.
Thing ever.
Yeah. But I remember people older than I, talking about the coldness or the tinniness or the uber treble sound in the CD that you didn't have with albums, like the warmth of an album. And it is a thing as I got older. And actually, when I was in my college radio station, we still had a lot of vinyl still. And when you're wearing the cans and you're listening and you're switching between the three mediums, the tape deck, the CDs, and the vinyl, you can hear a significant difference.
Yeah. I remember my brother and I had a radio 8-track vinyl like system in our room.
In a console. Yeah.
Yeah, and it sat in between our two beds, and like my I think Mark's bed pushed in, so it went like so his had a like a padded thing, and that opened up, and that's where you put your blankets and pillows, and you shut that down, and his bed pushed in underneath that slot. And then my bed was on the long side, and it had two cushions that were like diagonally cut, but when you turned them and you put them together geometrically, they made another foot cube. So that 6-foot bed turned into a 7-foot bed, which was, I mean, rocking the fucking Casbah for me. But we had an 8-track player, and Mark always had, he would either have Columbia House or one of the other.
Oh,
Like,
he was getting the 12 for a penny, wasn't he?
You get it one time, and then
it's every month if you don't cancel. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, but also, you get that fucking gimmick that comes in the mail, and if you don't check it, then they'll send you fucking, Linda Ronstadt's greatest hits. Like, they'll give you whatever the fuck you're getting.
You had to reject the selection of the month, or else you got it and they fucking charged you the $10.
Yep. So, and I think 8-tracks were cheaper than vinyl then. So, but if you're laying at night, man, you're gonna leave some tunes on, and it's really funny because like my brother and I both had really different tastes in music, and like one of his favorite bands was Jethro Tull, and I don't know if I was just we were just different. We had different taste. Now, when I listen to Sirius and I listen to classic vinyls, I'm like, my brother's taste in music was so fucking good. Like, Jethro Tull is so brilliant. Like, how were they not a bigger band once you listen to them compared to like the contemporary shit that came in after them?
I think the flute hurt them, Kev. The flute in rock. It was the only time it was tried. And I mean, I dig a little locomotive breath like anyone else, but I think the flute hurt.
There's a couple though, man. There's a couple fucking songs like
Cross-Eyed Mary. Fuck.
Oh, but it's like, who doesn't know the name Ian Anderson? I mean, name a
anyone under
player.
40.
That's the only motherfucker I know.
Yeah.
A couple of dudes I went to high school with that were playing the skin flute, but
I was gonna say the skin flute reference.
That's a whole.
Or that dude that they would
that's
sell
a whole
the
different
master
fucking
of
jargon.
the master of the pan flute, Zamfir, I believe his name was. Steve, if you want to check me on that. Those K-Tel collections would pop up every once in a while during Kung Fu Theater.
His claim was like 50 million, 50 million sold.
They would make these outrageous fucking. I don't know what they're counting on this, but
yeah, there was no Google. You were fucked.
Yeah, well, how are you going to argue with that?
Well,
50 million records worldwide.
Yeah.
Dravin Filth says there needs to be a comedy where a guy that doesn't believe in the moon landing ends up being an astronaut. He spends the whole movie mocking everything until the moment he ends up on the moon. The end credits scene is a studio watching him and saying, and cut. Very well done, Dravin. I think you should write it. We'll get it made. All right, the two big main events this weekend are not the only place where people are going for the gold, if you know what I mean. BLUECHEW Gold, revolutionizing the game. If your lady or your fellow or that person that sends you an eggplant emoji at 2 a.m., is ready for better action, you should be too. That's where BLUECHEW comes in, all right? They've been on a mission for years to get you bricked up, build your confidence, help you perform better in the boudoir. Their new arousal-boosting formula, BLUECHEW Gold, is helping millions of men have better sex in 2026. While most ED meds are focusing only on the blood flow aspect, BLUECHEW Gold goes further by combining 2 ingredients for blood flow with 2 ingredients for mental arousal and connection. So you're not just physically ready, you're actually in the mood, okay? Don't let your mind get in the way of a good time. Like Kev said last week, it's mostly mental, and he's not joking about that. Discover your options at BlueChew.com, and we've got a special deal for our listeners right now. When you buy 2 months of BLUECHEW Gold, you get the 3rd for free with promo code NASH. That's promo code NASH. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. We thank BLUECHEW, as always, for letting us drive it home in a way that matters.
That's the Channing's movie he did with Scarlett Johansson was they did the mock moon landing with Woody Harrelson. In case anything goes wrong, they had a backup. It was a rom-com.
I don't remember.
Yeah. It was Channing.
Fly Me to the Moon.
Yeah, Fly Me to the Moon.
There you go.
Yep.
Thank you, Dom. I forget Dom's in there.
Yep.
Did Marcus stick around?
Yes.
All right, good.
We put Marcus in the Gimp outfit.
Good.
It is Vegas.
See, it's a different dynamic when there's a live audience in the house, right? We got to take this on the road, Kev. We at least got to do one fucking live show in a hot city somewhere to feel the live vibe.
As long as we make sure Mick's open that weekend.
Who? Oh, Mick. DeRoma, I remember Kevin Nash saying he went to a Sade concert with a date and went home without her because the date couldn't measure up to Sade's sensuality.
I told that story yesterday. In the fucking
Who's the young lady? Come on, give us the Detroit shout out.
No, we were in Atlanta. I was in Atlanta.
Oh, this was Atlanta. Okay.
Yeah, this was right before I met my wife. Yeah, no, she was no smooth operator. That's for damn sure.
You just took that one out of my fucking mouth. Enough of you today. You're supposed to have a sore throat. If you'd like to join the audience that watches us in the house every week.
Actually, what you just said, I just took it out of your mouth in the sore throat. That all made sense.
It must have been while you were kissing me. KliqThisTV.com is where you go to sign up to become part of the 11 Soft Club for $9.99 a month. You get to be with us for the taping, the pre-show. You get the show early without the commercials, and you get to hang around and ask Kev some questions at the end of the show. Paige, holy shit. Braun Breaker's back. These are all Bianca's pregnant. Dear God.
I knew Braun was back last night. I saw the.
I was going to say you probably ran into him, right?
No, I saw the he's hidden.
Yeah, they kept him. Oh, Braun, good for them.
Yeah, he was hiding. No, but I saw the ortho. He's done the work on me. So.
Kev, I have a Mount Nashmore I want you to do. Since you're in Vegas, I got a little inspired to do a Mount Nashmore of mob movies.
Okay. So, yeah, we just did favorite movies, and I think we used a couple of these, but I mean, I can't. As soon as you said mob movies, immediately Goodfellas.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, that's the first one that comes up, and then when you just talk cinema in general, I think anybody it's almost now it's cliche if you don't say Godfather 2.
Oh, wait, 2?
But I think Godfather 2, but I think you should be allowed to say 1 and 2.
In the same entry?
Yeah.
Okay. So The Godfathers.
The Godfather's not 3.
Not 3. No,
You
definitely not.
gotta exclude. You gotta exclude 3. So, I'm sorry, Andy Garcia, but it wasn't your fault. Let me think. Now, can I go? It's not mob, but it's kind of mob. Can I go Can I go New Jack City?
I would. That's a good question. But that opens a whole other door. I would keep it to guys with vowels in the name, like the D'Angelos in your room there.
Okay. Departed. A little Whitey.
What was it?
Departed.
Oh, The Departed. Yeah,
Jack was
sure.
Whitey in that.
I think that would count.
Yeah.
Would you put Pope of Greenwich Village anywhere? A little Eric Roberts for you?
Just funny. I got gloves, Manny. I got gloves. What's the one that walking is the fucking heavy?
King of New York.
King of New York. That used to be on the bus in New Japan, and it played like Ice Station Zebra did in fucking Howard Hughes's crib. That motherfucker was on 24/7.
That's an Abel Ferrara film. Where are you, Wes, when I need you?
When he's on the subway and the guys come up and he fucking opens his jacket up and he's got the big fucking silver. Yeah, he's looking for a job. So you do a good walking. You should do. Give a little walking.
I'll give you the walk-in. I actually did a walk-in line. We were voicing the Stepford Wives, and we were going through the stuff we had to do, and then up on screen there got to a scene where they didn't have audio on walk-in. And the director of that was Frank Oz, the Frank Oz. And he jokingly said to the room, he's like, oh, shit. He goes, we didn't get Chris. He goes, no one here does a walk-in. And I go, what do you need? He goes, go ahead. And the line is they're applauding. I think it was Nicole Kidman giving a speech. And he leans over as everyone's applauding and Walken says, this'll be good. That's it. So if you watch it and you hear this'll be good, that's me. They asked him about his case. There you go. Okay.
Nice. Was that the second Stepford Wives?
That was the remake in.
Yeah, the remake.
Maybe, I don't know, 2000, 2001, something like that.
Yeah. Both good though.
So we can call that.
Actually,
we
the
can
second one's
call
a
that
little
the Mount
creepier.
Nashmore. What's that?
I think the second one's a little creepier.
Yeah, I don't remember it. I only saw what I did on it. And I think that's where I did my my Nicole Kidman trifecta. I was in that. I played the voice of her dead husband in a movie called Birth. Over the opening credits, I'm speaking as him. And then there was a third one I don't remember. So is that our 4? Do we have our 4? We consider The Godfathers,
Yep.
Goodfellas, The Departed, and then King of New York. All right, very good.
King of New York. I actually now have a kind of an understanding of what Axl Rose and Vince Neil are going through in their lives when your shit's blown out, man. It's blown out.
Yeah, well, but no one asked for a refund after you opened your mouth last night, unlike Motley Crue.
I don't care if it's a cold November rain. It's just fuck.
Thanks, Moose. Ace Ramon, we watched Gel Blazers last night. How in the blue hell do you get fined for not talking to the media, especially when they're walking up to you like stalkers?
I watched that, and I think I think his both teams played hard was his answer. Like everybody that asked him, like they kept finding him and finding him and finding him. And then finally he got there and he just said, both teams played very hard. Both teams played very hard. And he probably said that 12 times. And they fined him for that. So it was just, they were so fucking, the NBA was such cock slaves, you know, and they just did not want, I guess, you know, in the 70s, like the NBA was kind of the cocaine. I mean, it was there were some pretty rough fucking cats that came through there. I think that's why you had that white boy fucking 2-year run with the Knicks with DeBusschere and Lucas and
Dave
and that
DeBusschere.
crew. You know, they were great players. I mean, Lucas averaged like for his career like 16 and 14. I mean, but I don't remember. Let's go ahead and reference ourselves fucking
Here
3
we
more
go.
decades back. Do you remember when fucking Jerry Lucas would be on Carson and you could open any phone book to a major metropolitan city and open it to a page and say page 233, 13th person down on the second column, and he could tell you the name, address, and the phone number.
No way.
He had some crazy fucking memory. Oh, yeah, he was a memory guy.
That's like, what's her name has that? Mary Lou Henner, the former Taxi actress, has that gift, I guess you'd call it.
Yeah.
And I know there are people who generally on the spectrum that have that gift where you could throw numbers and they could do very complicated math like that, to the point where if you give a date like March 3rd, 1948, they can spit, and they're 20 years old, they can spit back Tuesday. And it was a fucking Tuesday, just because of the mathematical calculation of 365 days a year going back. Anyway, yes, so I know that does exist, but I don't remember Ray Lucas. Ray Lucas was a little later. Jerry Lucas. Ray Lucas was the coach for what? San Antonio, I'm thinking of, right? Ray Lucas. Was that Ray Lucas?
I don't know. I don't know who Ray Lucas is. I know Lucas Oil Field.
No, the coach, the coach for, I think he was coach for the Spurs, Ray Lucas. Anyway,
I don't know.
All right, thank you. Hey, Brett.
Popovich was there for so long.
Thoughts on Sid's induction? I felt like he deserved a better Hall of Fame induction. Good question.
I didn't hear it. I didn't get a chance to hear it because they were fucking running us around. I was trying to find a cough drop or
something to put in your stomach. Oh no, for the voice. I thought maybe because there was no food that you were going to feed yourself with ketchup on a cough drop.
No, man. I was like, I started. I think what happened was, I did so much interaction with the fans, and I don't fucking speak very much. I mean, you see the podcast, and that's it. But to do the podcast after fucking doing now 12 fucking hours of personal appearances, like fuck, that's more than I speak in a month.
Yeah. Thank you, Britt. T. Blair, was Vince and Shane in the back watching?
No.
Nope. Britt again. Do you really think Mania will be in Saudi next year? How long do you think they'll wait to change it? They got to do it fast because there's a whole lot of logistics.
To seriously answer that question, I'm not too sure fucking will be here.
Oh, God, Kev. Everyone flexing their nukes at each other now. With China
fuck, man.
entering the game.
I just hope that maybe I should make a comment to the Pope and how I feel. Since J.D. Vance was able to jump in and tell the Pope his thoughts on that the Pope should fucking really think about his theology before he, like, here, a little heads up, JD. Don't think the Roman Catholics will be voting for your stupid fucking hillbilly fucking ass. What a
T.
dumb
Blair.
fuck.
Have you had a chance to check out AAA yet? It's becoming my favorite weekly show.
AAA? I thought they were talking about Triple H. No, Sean and I fucking watched SmackDown only on eclipses. So I mean,
I did it again. I did it again.
One of my best friends on earth runs NXT. It's like I can only take so much wrestling. I've now officially rounded my age up because I realize now that we're going into May, June, and then July 9th, I'm 67. I don't think I'm going to be 65 anytime soon. So I'm just going with the, especially with my Saudi comment, I'm going to go ahead and slide into 67 as quick as I can. If it's 2 months ahead of time, fuck it. There won't be gravestones anyway.
But there's a reality to having this much wrestling on every week. I don't know that I mean, maybe when I was 12, I could catch every wrestling show that was on. And I don't think there's as many as there are now in a single federation, I mean. So there's a reality to having to expect people to stay this invested and still have a life of some kind, and have other projects and podcasts and book. A week from tomorrow, a week from Tuesday, Killing the Lieutenant will be out, my next book. There's a lot that people have going on. Right?
Oh, I mean, I'll hear things like, wow, that last TNA fucking pay-per-view was amazing, or this or that. Or I'll hear about somebody that I know that is, I mean, like, I've watched some clips of JWO since Russo is came in that I've
JCW.
popped for.
JCW.
Was that
JCW? Yeah.
Yeah, JCW, but just Gigolo Wrestling.
JWO, I get it.
Yeah. But I've watched some clips of that, and like I saw Vito on Thursday, and I said, I've seen some of his clips. I'm like, it's nice to see something that actually feels like actual dialogue and an encounter between real human beings.
Very good. So, thank you. Next.
So Vince came up. I saw Vince yesterday, Russo.
Yeah.
He came up and talked to me at my table for a minute. So.
How'd it go?
Me and Vince are tired. I mean, me and Vince have always been cool. Me and Vince think a lot alike about a lot of things.
You sure do. Being in Nash University for the last 3 years was pretty good when I had to start working with Vince over at JCW. Yeah. So it was good training. Thank you for that. But it's a product thing too, though, Kev. If you're from a certain, and it goes beyond wrestling, I think. If you watch certain films and you were into certain pop culture,
Yep.
which I do think is also very, even down to like music, I think you and Vince are probably in the same boat. It's a sensibility is what it is. And you bring that to any product that you'd be working on, I think. Give me one more. Who can play us off? Who's going to play us off tonight? Stars on Sports. AJ mentioned that the Hall of Fame should be every other year. Do you agree?
Well, I think that it's a big deal for the NFL Hall of Fame. It's a big deal for the baseball. It's like for the NBA. You know, I just think that it's a yearly. There's so many people that like we were sitting there. I'm sitting in the room, and there's Haku, who's not in the Hall of Fame. There's Arn Anderson, who's not in the Hall of Fame. And it's just like. It's like you see something like Kenny Lofton when he was with the Indians, and you see Kenny Lofton's stats, and he batted like 298, had like 2,600 hits, stole fucking 60 bases a year, like had better stats than 9 guys in different categories, yet he didn't make it on his first ballot and never was brought back up. And so you see that, and it's just like AJ is the first ballot guy that's ever went in. He had his last match this year.
Yeah.
And he went in. So that's the first person that's happened to. So I respect AJ, and I get it for him having that comment, but if it's every other year, there's going to be a lot less guys in it, and there's going to be a lot more fucking gaps of fucking people that just don't get considered.
Got it. Kliq This is a production of Butch and Sundance Media, produced in association with Podcast Heat, created by Tristan Nash, Kevin Nash, and Sean Oliver, producer Steve Kaufman, graphics by Dominic D'Angelo, master of the pan flute, Zamfir, title sequence and audio edit by Wesley Burleson, theme song by Dale Oliver, technical research by Tristan Nash, copyright 2026, Butch and Sundance Media. Kev, you want to do this again next week from a different location in the globe?
If I've got a voice.
Let us free. accustomed